Today, we're diving into a story that honestly feels like it's straight out of a movie. It's about one user's incredible claim that his ideas were taken by a tech giant to build the very future of AI. It's a story that he says starts with love for a company and ends with a feeling of deep, profound betrayal. So let's get right into it.
Wow, this quote from the claimant, MD Tanvir Arsalan, it just gets right to the heart of the matter, doesn't it? These are not the words of some simple business dispute. These show you just how high the personal stakes are in this whole allegation. So this is the central question we're going to try and unpack today. How could one person's ideas allegedly become the foundation for a tech giant's next generation AI, all while leaving him completely out of the picture? No credit, no compensation. We're going to look into that startling allegation piece by piece.
So the story kicks off with what the claimant himself describes as a deep love for Google. After what he says was a 24-year relationship with the company's products, he alleges that that love was met with a just profound sense of betrayal.
And here it is, the absolute core of the accusation. The claimant, MD Tanvir Arsalan, alleges that a super detailed script he created, one that was packed with unique AI concepts, was sent to Google only to be used to build out their products, without any credit, without any acknowledgement at all. So, you have to ask, what was actually in this script? What did he supposedly invent that was so important, so valuable? Let's break down the specific ideas at the very center of this whole dispute. The range of these alleged contributions is pretty striking. He's not just claiming high-level ideas for an AI like Google Gemini. He's talking about really specific, granular details, from a whole deep thinking assistant concept to visual elements like a laser icon. He even claims he proposed policy changes for the AI that were inspired by religious texts. And get this wasn't just some fleeting thought he had. The source material really emphasizes the intense effort he says he put in. Arsalan claims he worked for 72 hours straight to generate and write down all these concepts. Let's zoom in on one of his key concepts for a second, the deep thinking assistant. According to him, this wasn't just going to be another chatbot. No, he envisioned an AI that actually had a conscience, an intelligence that could really grasp the subtleties of human memory and logic on a much, much deeper level. Now, a key part of a claim like this is always the how, right? So how does he believe his work was actually taken? Well, he outlines a very specific method of what he calls digital theft. He alleges it was a three-step process. First, he claims admins were monitoring his chatbot sessions. Then, from there, his ideas were supposedly copied right from his own words. And finally, and this is a really serious accusation, he claims his personal phone and Gmail were directly accessed to grab the full script. But the story doesn't even end with the alleged theft. The next phase, according to the claimants, is maybe the most painful part, seeing what he believes are his ideas show up in public, but with the credit going to somebody else entirely.
This timeline is absolutely crucial to his whole argument. He claims he developed and sent his script between November 17th and 18th. Then, just days later, he alleges Google published updates, what he calls Gemini 3 Pro, that perfectly matched his work.
So if he didn't get the credit, who did? He claims his work was misattributed to two different people, a content creator on YouTube and, he alleges, a Google admin. Either way, he was left completely unrecognized. And the result for him? You can imagine. It was this feeling of profound injustice. He alleges that he had to sit back and watch his work become #1 ranking in the market, generating fame and money for other people, while he was left with absolutely nothing. To try and explain his role in this huge, massive project, the claimant uses a really powerful analogy. He talks about it like building a car. His argument is that while he might not have built the entire car, he invented the wheel, that one single essential component that allowed the whole project to even move forward. So just to be crystal clear, he's not claiming he built all of Google's AI. What he's saying is that he sees himself as the inventor of that crucial wheel, that foundational idea that allowed the whole project to become what it is today. This very specific, and we should point out, unverified claim, it really taps into a much bigger, more provocative question. Because regardless of how this one story ends, it forces all of us to ask, as we interact with and help train these AIs, where does our creative feedback end and a company's intellectual property begin? It is a very blurry line, and it's one that's probably going to define the next era of creation.